What's going on, people? Welcome to the live match reaction. Burnley 0, Palace 1. I'm laughing, but it was a massive win with the context of how things have been going over the last week or so, especially with fatigue. When we're going to be talking about the performance, I'll be honest, it wasn't a great performance. I'll start it off. But before I do, if you do enjoy the stream, and even if you're watching on replay, please do hit the like button as well as subscribing if you're new to the channel. And most importantly, you can get involved throughout the show by leaving down your thoughts in the live comment section, as well as joining us live and calling into the show by clicking on the pinned comment in the live comment section, which is posted there right now. So if you do want to call in, you can do so. But yeah, I'll start it off. Thank God that we've got 3 points and we leave there 1-0, clean sheet, moving up the table. I think as I'm talking right now, we're 6th, but that could change because there's games going on. But thank God for that. Because if we're being honest, that was, with the context of who we were facing, that was a bad performance. However, another context that you have to add into that performance was what we've been talking about all along, is the fatigue element. And the players looked absolutely knackered. Towards the end of the game, you would have thought we were playing an Arsenal or City, the way that Burnley were applying pressure to us. Not a side that have, struggled all season long in terms of creating chances and have conceded a lot of chances in terms of XG against them. You wouldn't have thought that. However, this is the reality, and this is what we've been, scared about, especially with Ismail Sarr's injury. And you saw it towards the end of the game. We only had 2 days off, and that definitely played a part. I know some people may be upset over the performance, but I think that one bit of context there, fatigue, answers everything else in terms of what I saw as a performance out there. So for that reason, I'll take 1-0 till the end of the season. I don't really care about performance. You can perform, well, I do care about performance to a certain extent, because if you're performing badly, let's say 5 or 10 games in a row, then eventually it'll catch up to you. But what I'm trying to say is, results matter more than performances. Sometimes you can perform well and not win and not be clinical enough in front of goal. Today, we managed to get the job done, and that's the biggest element, and that's the biggest factor, and we move up the table. And another positive from today's game was the fact that, after being 1-0 up, as we have done in the previous 3 games, we didn't manage to absolutely crumble, even though there were some dodgy moments towards the end of the game with Henderson missing a punch and, with a fantastic save as well. So there were still moments, but thankfully, we didn't have to go through what we went through in the last 3 games. And another positive to add is that instead of 2 days rest, we got 3 days rest till Fulham. I'll take that. Extra sleep, extra time off. And that's all I can really say about the performance, like in terms of the positives, because there weren't that many positives, especially in terms of attack. Jeremy Pino, in my opinion, had an absolutely terrible game. His passing, everything was off. And I think to sum up today's result, Mark Gahey assisting Danny Munoz to get us 3 points, I think is a perfect summary. I don't think I need to add more than that, because it was that type of game. The passing wasn't on point. Whether you're talking about Adam Wharton, who in the first half struggled a bit more than he did in the second half. I don't know if the stats backed up, but in the second half, he still had like 1 or 2 good passes, but overall, wasn't a great performance from him. In terms of passing, as I mentioned, Jeremy Pino, not fantastic. Mateta, which we spoke about for ages, fatigue is definitely impacting him. Thankfully, he managed to have some time off by Nketiah coming on, and Kamada, he wasn't as bad as Jeremy, but overall, it just wasn't a great attacking performance. I think we ended the game with 0.5 something XG, less than 1 XG against a side that's been, struggling. So, yeah, look, I'm still happy, and I'm more happy about the fact that we got 3 days off rather than 2 days off, and it's a good position to be in a league table, considering, the injuries and the lack of quality depth options. And Glasner did go to the bench today. We saw it. Devaney did come on. Was just running around, didn't do much. And Nketiah, similar. even though they were trying, Nketiah had that silly moment giving away that free kick. Thankfully, nothing came from it. Yeah, everyone just played their role. Everyone played their role. The bench shouldn't impact the performance in terms of, let's say, we brought in attackers and the attackers actually came on and created more chances. That wasn't the case. Maybe we could have scored the second goal in the second half when Mateta had that shot, went directly to the goalie and then came up to Kamada. Kamada had an opportunity there as well. But apart from that, we didn't create that many chances. So we can't really complain about the result. But look, let's see what you lot have to say about the game. That's enough from me. Let's invite the callers on. Let's start off with Animal. As I've said, please do hit the like button and subscribe. Even if it's a one like, it does help us. It takes 1 second of your time to just click that button if you do enjoy the stream. So please make sure to do so. Animal, welcome. Welcome onto the show. As I've said, I've got a smile on my face, but that was not pretty. However, I'll take it for the simple factor of fatigue, which I clearly saw from the players, which I clearly have been seeing even we saw against Manchester United. Today, the difference was we got the job done. However, it wasn't pleasing on the eye. Let's just say that.
Yeah, a massively important win. Massive 3 points and 1-0. These players are tired, like they are tired. I see people in the chat saying, "Oh, we dropped off second half," and it's like, look, every time you ask yourself what happened, or why something happened, always come back to tiredness, because these boys are their energy levels are dipped, their passing is off, they're not getting back into position quick enough. We're disjointed in our shape. All of this has got to do with fatigue. To crack on with a couple of positives, I thought Hendo had a really good game. Mark Gay, a bit of magic into Munoz to score the header. There aren't many positives, by the way. Actually, I actually thought that Kamada was miles better than Pino. I enjoyed him coming inside a little bit more, making Munoz a little bit freer on that right hand side. Easy to forget about Danny Munoz over on that right hand side if he's not sort of been like into the game. And I think that there's an element of how we got our goal from that. And Kamada was industrious. He was trying to make things happen. His work rate was at a high level. He had the energy today, but it all dropped off in the second half pretty quickly. Pino needs to be stronger. There's no way around it anymore. He needs to stop making these silly fouls. He needs to stop trying to buy free kicks that aren't free kicks. He's just going down and trying to buy it off the referee. We need enough of that. We need men on the pitch. We need people that are going to stand up, hold their ground, and try and get the best out of the situation. Eddie as well. Eddie is going to cost us serious time, defensively. What he did today, that could have been a free kick and an equalising goal, and we would have had nothing, no energy to get anything back for it. So some of these boys need to take a bit of a look at themselves, but because Eddie's should have more energy levels than the rest of them. Devaney should have more energy levels than the rest of them as well.
Yeah, he should. They should. But I mean, yeah, it was silly from Eddie in terms of what he done. Devaney, I don't think contributed much. I don't think anyone from the bench came on and changed the game. I think Burnley players coming off from the bench had more of an impact than our players coming off the bench. So that was the simple fact. But as you said, we managed to get the 3 points today. And another positive that I mentioned is that we got 3 days off and we kept the clean sheet. I think that's we're in a good position though. In terms of the league table. 6th place is very high. Are you concerned by what you saw, especially? I don't think, when people talk about we dropped off in the second half, I kind of disagree. I don't think we were ever really in the game, even in the first half.
No, I don't think we were in the game either.
Second half, maybe Burnley upped it a bit more in terms of what they offered in attack. Maybe I agree with those that saying we dropped off in that regards, but I don't think we were ever there to drop off.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but are you concerned about what you saw today against Burnley going into the Fulham game?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. If this keeps going, because people were like, "Oh, Kamada needs a rest." Oh, like, who's gonna come on for these players? These guys aren't getting rest, and it's not going to be until January comes around. I've got a really concerning question today around Devaney, because he came on and he did nothing and he offered nothing and he gave the ball away and it was frustrating. And you have to ask yourself, if Devaney is so much better than Esse, how can the levels be that much different from what we've seen today? surely SA can come on and maybe produce a little bit of unpredictability. You know, what is it that Devaney's got that the SA can't even produce a little moment of, or give us a bit of magic? Do you know what I mean? Because I can't see how there is just a massive gulfing difference between Romain Essa and Devaney. So yeah, if we're relying on Devaney coming on to do something, we're going to be waiting all season for it. We need a little bit more up in that attack, because these boys are tired, you know.
Yeah, they are tired, and you know what? It's crazy to say. I mean, as I said at the start of the show, we were sick because Sunderland were beating Liverpool. But the fact that Liverpool ended up scoring a goal, and now we've gone up to 5th against Sunderland. Normally it's the other way around. Normally you would have maybe Sunderland score a goal and then you go up. But it's been a crazy table. I mean, Sunderland were above us because they were winning, but now Liverpool scored a goal, which is helping us whilst Liverpool are 8th. But anyways, the league table will change as it goes on. But was you surprised by, despite the subs, you mentioned Roman Essa there, Kristantas Uche, he didn't come on. I don't really see that scenario changing. But did it surprise you today? Because this was the first official game without Ismail Assar and maybe a few more rotations, etc. But as I've said, I know some people keep saying rotation, but there's a reason why Glazer don't bring on those players, because he clearly thinks that they can't impact the squad in a positive way. So was he surprised?
I was surprised not to see Uche come on. I want to see him replace Mateta, and I want to see Nketiah play the 10. Because Nketiah is a little bit more useful, sort of driving at the defenses, right? So that's why I think he's going to be better off in the 10. And Uche, he's got to be that target man. And Glasner is getting to a point where I don't care what he wants, because we have to rotate these players. Some of these boys need a rest. Mateta needs to come off. It's got to be done. It's going to have to be necessity. It doesn't really matter anymore. Devaney's not coming on and giving us anything. So we have to try something. We've got to try something different. It can't be just about how we can get the best result out of the game. Because if he keeps going in this way, it could end up costing us points. It could end up costing us games. So it's either you roll the dice or you don't. And I fear if we keep on not rolling the dice, we're going to pay for it eventually.
Yeah, well, look, thankfully we managed to get through today, and let's see what happens on Sunday. As I said, 3 days instead of 2 days, that might help us a bit more, but the 2 days rest clearly didn't help from the United game to the Burnley game. But Animal, great having you on, and hopefully catch up with you after Fulham.
Yeah, I just want to say to the fans that don't dig out these players too much, because they're leaving it all out there. All right, these boys are working their socks off for us. All right, but yeah, anyway, I'll see you soon. Not the Palace, boys.
Take care. And I think Animal said a great point there as well, right before he left. I mean, today, hats off to the players. I genuinely feel bad for them. And you see it, Glasgow also feels sorry for the players as well after his outburst against our post-Man United game. And today, you can just see it. You can, the quality of these players. We've seen this squad for good enough time to know what they can produce. And it just wasn't on their levels, but it's also not their fault. It's not their fault. They're humans. They're not robots. I mean, of course, they're athletes and they're trained and they're in a particular way. The diet's on point, and yes, they are different, and that's why they do earn the big bucks. But at the end of the day, they are still humans. There is physical fatigue as well as mental fatigue. There's a lot of traveling. There's a lot of games. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of demands. And today, it's a big credit to them to hold on to that lead. And yes, it was tight margins. It could have went sideways. And Burnley did actually end the game with more XG than us, if anyone does care in that regards. However, they just managed to get a result. They managed to keep the clean sheet, managed to find a goal out somewhere. And especially after the last 2 games, we just couldn't really drop any points against Burnley. The meltdown would have been unreal. So for that reason alone, big credit to them. But that was Animal having his say. If you do want to call into the show, you can do so by clicking on the link in the pinned comment section, as well as liking the video if you haven't already done so as well. I know a lot of people are sending in their comments. We'll be going through some comments. Actually, let's go through some comments right now. Paxton saying that's why this is such an important win. Players running on fumes. 100% agree with you there. Do people here really think they know better than Glasner? Respectfully, you're deluded. I don't know what people are saying, but I think, let me take a guess. I assume it's based on rotation because there has been this debate going on about rotation and Glasner not rotating enough. You know, callers also say that as well. I guess there is that debate. Some people saying trust Glasner, some people saying he should still rotate. So there is that debate going on. But yeah, let's see what the other callers have to say. Let's bring on Tim next. Tim, 1-0 win today, big win, but let's be honest, towards the end of the game, it felt like...
Oh, I lost your audio, D. I don't know what happened there. Uh-oh. I hope that's not me. Can you hear me? It's you. Okay. Let me start, and then you fix your audio. There's something I saw on Blue Sky. I mean, look, yeah, that was dreadful. It was hard to watch. And probably the best thing I saw on Blue Sky is, well, that was about as enjoyable as a trip to the dentist. Fact. Fact. That is exactly right. It was terrible. So yeah, I can hear you now, D. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it was my audio, my bad.
All right. So yeah, that was awful. Having said that, I totally agree with Animal. They are giving everything. But I think it is becoming increasingly clear that January is absolutely vital, and you have to figure out some way to manage through December. And we may see more performances where things are weird, they're leggy, we're battling through it. I will say, give some credit to the defending. The defending was pretty good, and there is a moment towards the end of the game where Ty is battling along the touch line, and he's just battling to get a throw in. It's just like trying to dig out the ball, and Glasner is clapping him vigorously, gives him a high five. He's like, and you can see, D, that Glasner is not annoyed with these players. He's annoyed with the situation. And I think a lot of us feel very similarly annoyed with the situation that we don't have more to bring on here. It's becoming very clear to me that if we don't see Esse and Uche in the next, let's call it 3 games, if we don't see them at least somewhat consistently, then let's just give it up, put our hand up in January and send Esse out on loan, send Uche back, and just say, look, we made a mistake here and we need to go recruit, aggressively to get players that Glasner will feel comfortable rotating, because this is not in any way sustainable. I do have a shout out, but I'll pause there to see what you think about that.
Yeah. I agree. Look, I agree with some of these bench players. If they're not going to be contributing, there's no point of them being there. And I don't know if you noticed, but there were 2 goalies on the bench today. So when it comes to academy players, clearly he doesn't think anyone's ready yet to step up and play a role, which doesn't shock me because there's been no indication from Glasgow that any of the academy players can step up. So yeah, it just feels like, especially with Uche and Esse, with Devaney, he still trusts him enough to come on. But I personally don't believe that Devaney is at Premier League level to contribute meaningfully. I think he can put in the legs and he can run around and, he can do the work in that regards. But in terms of actually a number 10, he's not a number 10 in the Premier League to create chances. I just don't believe that. I don't think I've seen any indication from Devaney so far. So Devaney's coming on because he can provide legs. And Nketiah's coming on. He's improved in terms of what he was first doing for us when he first joined to now, but he's still not, at the level that he should be for a player that's signed for £30 million, for example. And
yeah, last 2 performances, definitely.
Yeah, and you got Uche and Esse who are there and offering nothing. Clearly, Glasner doesn't trust them to come on. So, yeah, it's an area to look at. It's an area definitely to look at, but we can't for now. We have to survive December. And then if we do survive December, we've got great opportunity from January onwards, especially hopefully with the Conference League. We'll see what happens then. But there is that uneasiness about looking ahead. Hopefully we go past Fulham as we've done today. Hopefully we go past Shelbourne as we've done today. Hopefully, I don't care if it's not easy watch. Just get the points and just manage to go through. I don't honestly at this point, performances are not as important. It's all about the results because of how tired the players are. But if we can survive until January and then, you know, the club, after what Oliver Glasner said, after what Steve Parish has been seeing, and, you know, any other Paris fans have been seeing, we need recruitment. We need a shuffle, especially in the attack. It can still be an exciting season. It's still, look, we're in a very good position right now.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't nice today, but we still managed to get the job done. And that's a credit to everyone involved within. But we are pushing our lucks currently at the start of the season. No, at the start of December already. And you can see it. It's still early December. And today was a bit scarier at times.
Yeah. So I agree with a lot of that. The one thing I will challenge slightly is that I agree that Devaney is not a Premier League number 10. I believe he can really do a job for us as the backup left wing back, and I believe he can do a job for us as a number 6. He is not a number 10, but I absolutely believe he is a squad player for this team. So I'm not having he's not Premier League level. I know I've seen him, and the penalties that he has scored have been brilliant. He's able to play it. He just can't play in that number 10. Don't put him there because he's going to look terrible. Like, that is not.
But he's not also left wing back as well, Tim, though. I know he played left wing back for Northern Ireland, and he performed well.
I totally believe he could play there. He's played a little bit, not very much, but I absolutely, he's got the energy to do it. He's got the pace to do it. He's got a good left foot to deliver the ball. I would love to see him as the backup left wing back. I absolutely believe he could do it. But to your point, because I think it's a good one and I don't want to lose it, like, we absolutely need investment in January, and we're in a good position right now. So I'll jump off, but I want to make this point. I do want to just quickly give the positive. This team is nowhere without the defending that they're able to do. And the back 5, and I'll include Dino and make it a back 6. That is the foundation of this team. And it's the reason we were able to make a little bit of luck in this game. We needed some luck. We were able to make some luck because that defense is top class. They're top class. Mark was excellent today. Dino makes the mistake. Richards clears it off the line. He had some big clearances. His heading was needed. His strength was needed on multiple occasions. He was very good today. Max was also, for the most part, quite good. He comes in and gets that challenge and that hurts Dino. But if he doesn't make that challenge, the cross is coming in. That's bad news. That might lead to a goal. He was in the right position at the right time. Really good defending today. It's a bad performance, but thank God for that defense, Steve. That they are good. They are quality, and it is the foundation of this team. So, wasn't a fun watch. Wasn't a fun watch, but you take the 3 points. It's
100%.
terrible. It's a terrible performance, but sometimes when you win, when you're just terrible and you get a little bit of luck, it can help build some confidence. And I hope that's what we get going into Sunday. I hope so, because we needed just something to go our way. And we did. We rode a little luck and we got 3 points. Thank God.
Exactly. Look, Tim, great having you on.
Yeah, as always.
Let's see what happens on Sunday. Take care.
Take it easy, D.
That was Tim having a say. And quickly before we bring on the next guest, good question from Gaika. He says, question, if you were one of our potential targets in January, would you sign without knowing whether Glasner was going to extend his deal or not? To be honest, I'm not so sure. I still think we can attract players. Look, we've got a good squad. We're achieving good things. And I guess it depends on who we're targeting. Of course, which we won't be. If we're targeting someone from Arsenal or Chelsea, which is not going to happen, then we don't want to come to Palace. But we are doing very well in the league. So if you're a player from the Championship, I still think you make the jump to Palace because of how we've developed players. If you're coming from Europe, you still come to Palace. Don't forget, Jeremy Pino could have played Champions League football this year. He decided to come to Palace to play Conference League football, to play in the Premier League. So we've still got that attraction. I don't think we really should have a problem about Oliver Glasner extending or not. I think players still want to be playing in the Premier League. So yeah, I'm not really concerned about that in regards to that. And there was another point. I don't know where it's gone. But yeah, there's a lot of comments. So they're just flying by, and I'm not too sure who said it, so I can't bring it up on the screen. But there's a question about, looking ahead, and do we sign or do we back Glasner if he might not even sign a new deal? I think we have to remove Glasner out of the equation. You have to look at these players as it is. If it's not Oliver Glasner as a manager and another manager comes in, do you think, let's say another manager was in let's say January onwards, do you think, which is not going to happen, Glasner will be here till the end of the season at least, is Esse, from what we've seen, is he good enough to come off the bench for us? And by the way, this is Glasner that's won us a trophy, that's got a good pedigree even before coming to Palace. So I'll take his judgment for players. He clearly can improve players. He knows players well. So it's crazy in the first place to say, if he's right or not. But it's not even about Glasner. It's just about improving the squad overall. I haven't seen much from Uche apart from him being a physical presence to indicate that he will be a good. What position does he play? Let's start there. Is he a midfielder? Is he a 10? Is he a number 9? He's a versatile player, but it's hard to see because from what I've seen from the limited amount of minutes, it might sound harsh, but it doesn't seem like a very technical player. It seems more like a physical player. So if it's another manager, are we saying that Uche will now perform? I don't think so. If it's another manager that comes in, is Esse now good enough to come off the bench? I still don't think so. I think this is more about improving the squad overall rather than putting it as, if Glasner was to leave, do we back him because he might end up leaving? Glasner might end up leaving, but this squad still needs improvement. And Glasner has said that in his press conferences about, it's not about me, it's about Palace overall. And it does make sense because as we spoke about, Deveni, Uche, Esse, if another manager was at the club right now, are we saying that these players are now going to be performing at the standard that we expect them or hope them to? I don't think so. I just think it's more of a quality issue rather than a manager issue. So we need to be backing this manager regardless. I think he's earned that 100%, especially with what we're doing in the league this season. I know the Conference League has been, 2 defeats. It's been disappointing, but we're still in a good position. And even if we remove that element, we should still be improving the squad because it's not just about Oliver Glasner, it's about the overall team, which I don't think the number 10 positions is not at a good standard. So yeah, to answer those questions. Let me bring on the next guest. Dan, good win today, 1-0 away from home, clean sheet. We spoke about the performances as well. I don't think it was particularly great. However, with context of fatigue, you have to feel for the players. What do you make of the game?
I'll just put in my little 2 pence worth in your last little comment there. About I think I seriously think that Glasner's gonna get like 4 or 5 maybe over in January, and then he'll sign his new contract, knowing then he's got full backing of the board. That's what I feel on that one. But onto the game anyway. It was a sort of like watch behind the sofa sort of like game, really, wasn't it? You can generally tell that the players are just absolutely mullered. They've been running to the ground and back, but they're still chucking in performances. They're still defending. They're still defending like proper. I think they were saying that where the team away from home at the minute just conceded the least clean sheets. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he's doing something right. As for Esse and Uche, I don't feel they've got futures at the club anymore. Deveni today, it was just atrocious. Like putting him in the 10 role is just useless for him. He's done all right in the centre mid, but today he was just so poor, and he hasn't had minutes either. So he should be one of the ones that should be on top of the light rather than below the light. You know what I mean? So it's a tough one, but you just take it and move on. The 1-0's perfect, and we needed that. We needed the response after the Man United game, and luckily enough, we got that response.
Yeah, we did get that response in terms of result, but looking ahead to that Fulham game, as the games are going by, you're seeing the players even struggle further. Do you think maybe having that extra day's rest, 3 days rest rather than 2, could help us to perform at a better level in that game?
I'm kind of hoping. I'm kind of hoping. So I think if we can put in a solid 70 minutes against Fulham, I think if we can put in a solid 70 minutes against Fulham, then I think we'll beat them. But again, we just need to be complacent. You know, we have to make subs, and Glasner unfortunately doesn't trust a couple of people on the bench. I don't know what's happened with Sosa as well. I would have thought Sosa would have been in the frame a little bit more.
He's out injured.
But was he out injured? Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. But nah, like it's a mad one. It's a mad one. But I think I've got full belief in Glasner, and at the end of the day, whatever he does, he's a magician in my eyes. You know what I mean? He's turned his club. He's turned his club around. You know, managed to win our first ever bit of silverware. You know, we're in European football as well. You know, we're still fighting strong on all fronts. So long may it continue.
Yeah. Looking at individual performances, let's start off with the positives. I thought the defense was very good. Guehi, we saw his assist once again, proving well. Is similar type of goal to what we scored against Newcastle at home, I believe, last season, when Munoz managed to get that last minute. Was it equalizer or when? Yeah, I think it was an equalizer because it was all over them. Similar to that, but he was great in terms of going forward and defensively, but also, you know, Lacroix and Richards, they held the ground. There was a few blocks.
Yeah, you can't knock the defense or the goalkeeper this year. Like, you know what I mean? They've been absolutely out as well. Good. You know, I've only got one mistake from Lacroix, which cost us that penalty. I think when he got turned a little bit, but he slipped. You know, that's not his fault. That's the only one mistake I've seen him make this year. He's so solid. Richard again just keeps on going up and up in my estimation. Guehi's worth his weight in gold. You know what I mean? Tyreek Mitchell is settling now into that left wing back role perfectly. You know, Dan Munoz, I feel, is the best right wing back in the world football. In my eyes, you know, Dean Henderson just keeps on making clutch saves. You know, and then you got Adam Morton. You know what I mean? All right, the last couple of weeks he hasn't put on a great display, but you know what I mean, the man, you can give the man like 15, 20 minutes and then he'll just turn his game on the head. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried about the defence at all. I'm just worried about the forward positions that, you know what I mean, he's not really changing it, but I feel we need more of an attacking threat moving forward in January. But let's just get this massive December out of the way, and then we can have a look and focus on January. Because according to him today, we still got plenty of money left in the bank.
Well, yeah. Well, look, we didn't spend all of their money. I think we ended in a net positive £20 million, and that is just with that money. But then there is the other side of the argument, not about the PSR rules in the Premier League, but about the UEFA financial rules about how much we could spend. I don't know if we could do, you know, some shuffling. I don't think Esse going out on loan is going to be impacting that, or Uche going back to Getafe will change that massively. But I don't know. There must be a way to work around it. So let's see in regards to that. Look, 3 points. We move on. But just quickly, actually, we haven't really spoke about him as much today. Yeremy Pino got subbed off. For me, he was really a standout because of, you know, not just the money, but of course he's Eze's replacement. Is he struggling, do you reckon, from fatigue as well as the other players? Because today were just uncharacteristic. I don't know. His pass and everything just seemed off.
I don't think he is. You know, he still finds them little pockets of space, and you know, it's going to take time for the link up with Mattel. You know, everyone expected, oh yeah, we put in the massive bid for this guy. You know, it's got to come quick. It's got to come quick. It doesn't need to come quick. You know, we've got other ways of scoring goals. You know, Ismail Sarr has fallen on his shoulders this year, and like Ismail Sarr has done an unreal job. But Yeremy Pino is settling in really, really well, and I'm impressed with him. You know, I don't agree with the fan base. You know, calling, saying he's this, saying he's that, saying he's this. You know, just let the kid gel into the team. You know, he'll become fantastic for us. I've got no doubt in that. You know, but all right, okay. People struggle, people struggle throughout the season, and at the end of the day, I don't feel he's fatigued at the minute because he keeps on coming off after like 60 minutes, 70 minutes. So I don't feel a player can get fatigued after that, after keep on coming off on that sort of page. But you know, we just got to wait and see. You know, I mean, like I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the Glasner era. And I've not wanted to watch football so much now than now. You know, I mean, this team is just absolutely wonderful, and you know, long may it continue.
100%. Look, Dan, great talking to you, and hopefully you catch up. We'll be able to pull him.
Yeah, mate. Take care of yourself. Yeah?
Take care. Up the Palace. That was Dan having his say. If you do want to call into the show, feel free to click on the pinned comment in the live comment section. A few players off today, passing wise, even Wharton, which never happens. Yeah, I thought the midfield and the attacking three in terms of passing wasn't great. And once again, the defense saved us. And we've spoken about it. Of course, we don't. I mean, the midfield in terms of goal contributions and from midfield, it's not up there. So if it's not the attack, it seems like it's the defense. And sorry, he assisted Munoz. Thankfully that happened. But yeah, I thought Wharton's passing wasn't great, even though he had a fantastic pass in the second half. One or two actually passes in the second half. But overall, if you look at his performances, I don't know about his stats. Maybe his stats prove otherwise. But in terms of the eye test, it wasn't great. But yeah, it was just a team thing. And for me if it was like one or two individuals, and I'd say, all right, cool, they're just having a bad day. But when it's a team thing, when you look at the midfield and attack and the passing, we know how good they can be, and it was off by that standards. You can clearly tell that fatigue is catching up to them. So yeah, it was a very hard watch. Let's bring on Jamal next. Jamal managed to get a job done, clean sheet away from home. What was your thoughts on the game?
Clean sheet, as you said, away from home. On a Wednesday, the guys had to travel after having the Manchester United game we lost. It's a good result for Crystal Palace Football Club.
Yeah, it was a good result, but it wasn't easy. What do you think was it today about the struggles? We spoke about the passing, the team not being at the standards that they usually are. Is it a simple case of fatigue, or have you spotted anything else?
I haven't spotted anything else to say different from the latter. If you look at it, your last set of games you played was Sunday and was Thursday, so today is Tuesday. So if you add it up, there's 3 games in 7 days. And we played the same squad. The quad did not get to rotate. Henderson didn't get to rotate. So if we look at it, it's the same squad. And then we got to play again on Sunday against Fulham. So you can't expect the guys to be flying like if they had a week off.
Yeah. I guess we got that extra days rest against Fulham, which we didn't have against Burnley, 3 days rather than 2 days, which can help us. But today, what fantastic assist by Mark Gahey to Daniel Munoz once again.
Oh man, that was a wonderful. I believe that you knew that goal was coming when you saw Gahey shaped up. I believe you knew that was coming.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it at the edge of the box. He scored wonders, but we've seen this exact goal to the T against Newcastle. We've seen it before.
He did it 4 times.
Assisting Munoz.
Yeah, he always, because I know if you realize Mitchell always pull 40 left, which pulls out the right back, so it gives him room to come inside. And when he comes inside, he always chips to that back post. He does it all the time, and he's and people don't give Mark credit for his passing. He's a really, really good passer.
Very good passer. And we saw it. Look, we've seen it in games. Strasbourg, second half of Strasbourg, he came off at half time. We collapsed. I think people look at Gahey as a great defender, which, don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic defender. But I think the reason why Gahey is one of the best in his position is because, yes, he's a great defender, but he's incredibly good on the ball as well. and he takes away the pressure from the
Yeah,
team.
he
The
does,
fact that
especially on Mitchell too. Anytime Mitchell, especially on the pressure, he just passes the Gee. Even if he doesn't look, he just passes it there because he know it's a symbol of strength and reliability. So when he gets it, he always. If you being honest, if you look at Mark Gee, even when he's tired now, most of the team have been passing loosely, Wharton, Pino, etc. But Mark Gay has been consistently passing the ball into areas and under pressure, not under pressure, which so it looks really bad that the defenders, which is Monia and Mark, had a team up to score a goal. Well, you have attackers on the field to score goals when Munoz and Mark Gay supposed to defend. But just shows you the depth and the strength of Crystal Palace Football Club.
Yeah, it does. It does. And he's going to be a massive miss. I think people are going to realize how good he is once he leaves as well. I think we all know how good he is, but maybe some people haven't realized how good he is on the ball. He creates chances for us. And today, once again, a
And
fantastic
he leads the
assist.
back line. He leads the back line. I know if you always realize he keeps Lacroix, he keeps Chris Richards honest at all times. Right?
Yeah.
If you go and he talk to them, he's not a low shout screamer kind of send a pump to chest kind of like send a back, but he talks to them. He works with him well. If you make a mistake, he will talk to them. He leads the line for the defense well.
Yeah. And look, if we're being honest, if it wasn't for that fantastic ball and great run from Munoz to get onto that ball by Mark Gahey, we didn't really create much. I think
the game would have done love all. The game would have done love all. I think Burnley they had a fight in the first half. Either didn't. If Burnley had more fight, it'd be a different game. But they I don't know if they were tired too as well. But they didn't look like if they had any fight. They just didn't look like if they have any fight.
Yeah. And Burnley's subs made an impact. I guess that's what happens when you have.
Ours didn't. And I don't know if you realize ours didn't. The Vanny came on.
Why do you think?
No change.
Why do you think that was the case? Because if you're looking at the players that did come on, Hughes hasn't played significant minutes. I know he has started games for us, but it's not like he's been playing week in, week out. Devaney similar, comes off the bench, but nothing crazy. And Nketiah similar levels. Why do you think our subs didn't make the impact that Burnley subs did?
Square pegs in round holes. Devaney is not a number 10. I think everyone knows that. So you can't expect nothing from him in that position other than work rate defensively, etc. Right? And Nketiah has not bought into Glasner. He has not bought into the philosophy of God. If you look at the last game against Manchester United, he came on, he got a yellow card. He was offside a couple of times. He didn't look like if he's in it. The next game versus this game, the same thing. Very lackadaisical. Even the tackle, you saw that tackle that he did in like the 89th minute. What would possess you as a forward to tackle like that? And he got a yellow card against Manchester United for it, and he come back again and did it. And if they scored from that, you can imagine the conversation we'll be having right now, saying that he did it on Sunday. He got a yellow card. Why would you come back and doing it again? But luckily, it hit the wall. So I believe personally he has not bought into the way how. I want you to understand this, right? We seeing results from him, Glasner, but Glasner is a very stubborn man in general. Is either his way or the highway, right? He refused to play players that he have on the bench because they don't do what he want them to do in training. So that's why you don't see Uche, you don't see because I mean if I was Steve Parish, you say you want players, but you got players there, but you don't play them.
But then Glasner would reply back to him saying that these players are not good enough for me to play them.
You are, and then I would say you are Crystal Palace Football Club. You think you are Manchester City, or you think you are Liverpool?
I know what you mean. But Romanese, for example, I'm not writing him off. I think he's still got a future. He's still a young player. Uche is not, an experienced player either. He's still fairly young in terms of age. But Romanese, there's clearly a plan there for him. He needs more time to develop into
he's young.
profile. So he'll probably go out on loan. but Uche, for example, he's meant to be potentially a £20 million signing if he
But
starts.
he probably may not was he probably was not a Garner Glasner type of player. It was not Garner Glasner choice. Probably club bought him. Right.
Yeah.
So when you look at it,
No, but Glasner spoke about that. Glasner he did say, I think, speaking to the Athletic, he did say that he has been happy with the signings. With all the signings that's come in, he hasn't been upset over any of the individual players coming in. He's been actually happy about that. He just thinks we need more. So maybe Glasner wanted Uche, but of course, in football, regardless of how good of a manager you are or great scout you are, you do have hits and misses. No one probably expected Uche. No one expected Uche to come to Palace and be like this. We don't see what happens behind the scenes in terms of training. Maybe he's not settling well in London. That happens. Like, players sometimes move to a new environment, they don't settle well. So something has clearly happened with Uche, but he has said that in a recent interview. I think he got posted today by the Athletic, by Matt Wisdom. Go check it out. He's happy. He's happy with the players. He just demands more for Palace because he's not going to come out publicly mention names, but we know it. You add 2 + 2 together. Uche is not playing. Essays are not playing. He clearly don't think they're up to the standards right now. But Uche, I don't know if
but it's not only those two. I could call 5 or 7 names that he does not play. After Sosa had the red card, has he played since?
No. Well, after Sosa, Sosa's been out injured.
Yeah, but when he was out injured like last week, he wasn't injured for the last 2 months after he got a red card in the Conference League game, right? For the stupid tackle, the second. We didn't see him in since.
Well, yeah. With Sosa, what do you really expect? That's a fair point that you make, and that's a point that we can talk about in terms of the investment. Yes, we did. Yeah, go on.
Mitchell, we're running Munoz to the ground. Let me be real. Palace is overachieving. I think everyone realized that. We're in 4 competitions and we are up there, right? But the squad we have is not big enough for Glasner's ambitions. That is my opinion, right? Other people may have other opinions, but that's my opinion. We don't have a squad like you. If you look at the Arsenal game today, Arsenal brought on Isaiah off the bench, Saka off the bench, and another player. We don't have that quality to bring on, or whoever they had to start. We don't have it. Yeah. We don't have it, and to take Palace out of mentality of survival for 13 years, to then tell them to flip a switch and let me just buy all these players. Yeah. It is not in their nature to do. It's not. The last gentleman that was on the call said he's so excited to watch Crystal Palace play every time. And I'm the same way. I'm excited to see my team play. But I still know, as euphoric as this period is, right? We do not have the funds to compete against the other big clubs. We don't.
But then Glasner's response to that isn't that he wants to spend £100 million. His response is that he wants the money that we've made to be reinvested back into the squad. He did mention it. We've seen it as well. There is of course, we don't have the specifics in terms of finances, but Glasner said it. There should be around £20 million around that region from the Eze money that we still haven't spent.
Yeah, so but that's not his place.
All of that to be spent. That could be another player.
That's not his place. But that's not his place. His place is to coach the team, not to look at the finances.
Yeah, but don't you think he's earned that right, though, as a manager?
Earned that right. He's only been there a year. Owned the right. Yes, he gave us.
Yeah, but with the FA Cup and what he's achieved, and he can achieve.
I agree what he achieved, but you are at Crystal Palace. You're not at Manchester United. You're not at Chelsea. You're not at Liverpool. You're not at a club where you can demand that so you can get. We are still Crystal Palace.
Yeah. Well, look,
let me say we do well.
Everyone has their own opinions. Huh? I respect it. Right.
And I respect your opinion as well. But everyone can't have the opinion. If you listen to Talk Sport and you listen to all these, you need to put your feet on your ground. We are still Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We are in 4 competitions, right? The team is running. These players are playing. You watch the game today. These guys work their socks off for that manager.
Yeah, 100%. And the manager knows that as well, and he has said it. He doesn't have any problems with the players. But Look,
Yeah,
let's see. Let's see. We can't sign
yeah,
anyone anyways for now. We still
yeah,
got
yeah.
loads
It's
of
true.
games.
It's true.
Exactly,
And you can look
exactly.
at
We still got
salaries too. When you look at
yeah.
salaries too, Mark Gay, look at Mark Gay's salary compared to how he performs versus persons like Konate at Liverpool.
Mm. Yeah, he's nowhere near like Canate. You look at Canate, look at Gay. Gay's performing much better, but his salary is not really reflective in terms of his performance because he's one of the best. So you are right in regards to that. But look, Jamal, great having you on, bro. Hopefully we catch up with you again soon.
All right, you have a good one. Bye bye, guys.
You too. Take care. Let's bring on Lou next. Lou, what are you saying? 1-0 prediction. We both got it right. And it wasn't, let's be real, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to watch. And it wasn't easy for the players on the pitch as well, because we had one or two moments where Burnley threatened us. And they caused us some issues. But thankfully, we kept the clean sheet and got the 3 points.
Yeah, that was the main thing, man. That was the main thing. That was a tough watch, bro. that was a tough watch. Even like,
Was you expecting it to be that tough going into the game?
Yeah, I did. Just from fatigue. Really and truly, Mateta should have tucked that chance away in the second half. But at the end of the day, mate, it's a 1-0 win. Stops the rut. It'll give them a little bit more confidence. But yeah, man, it was Dino nearly threw it away at the end. I don't know what he was doing there.
Nearly punched it away in the end. Well, missed a punch. He literally punched the air. But then again, he had a fantastic save as well. Where it was a fingertip save onto the crossbar. But yeah, look, the first half was probably better than the second half in terms of Burnley, how they pressured us in the second half. But how do you fix this fatigue issue? Like, how do you solve this? Because 3 days. I'm just hoping that an extra day's rest for 3 days rather than 2 days may help us against Fulham, who are also leaky at the back. We saw it against City, but it's not like an easy fix. We just have to keep going through this month.
Yeah, it's like damage control all the way till January. I think the two main things for me is get in the top 8 in the Conference League and still be in the top 10 in the Premier League. Like, that's, if we get through to January in that position, like that's unbelievable. Like, anything more is a bonus to me. And we avoid any long-term injuries.
Yeah,
like we can't afford to lose Gahey for 6 weeks or Lacroix for 6. Any of those.
Anyone. We can't afford to lose anyone at this point. Like, no one, because we're so thin as it is. And
it's the Henderson, Richards, Lacroix, Gahey, Mitchell, Munoz, Wharton, Kamada, Pino, Mateta. They're the ones being run into the ground the most, and they're the ones who need to avoid injury. Hopefully, like, from a selfish point of view, Senegal get knocked out early, but I doubt that will happen because they're probably the best. I think they're the favourites for the competition. I think they won it. They won it last time as well. And the thing is, even when we get to January, are we going to sign players on the 1st of January? Are they going to be able to fit into the system straight away? But I see everyone, like, not everyone, loads of people saying, Uche Esse. But if the manager's putting Devaney on with 30 minutes left,
there's a reason why they're not playing. Yeah, I agree with that. There's a reason why they're not playing. But I didn't really expect them to play during this run-in anyways, because he hasn't played them all along. I know we spoke about how when Sarr goes, they may have more opportunities and they need to step up, Uche and Esse, but I just don't see it happening. I genuinely don't think Glasner rates them enough. It's not about rating them. I don't think he trusts them enough to go in the pitch and not do anything silly to give away chances or perform at the level. That's why Devaney comes on ahead of them.
Yeah, I'm completely happy with the situation. Like, obviously, we know there's obviously situations going on where Glasner isn't happy in certain aspects, and maybe we're not matching the ambition he sees for the club as much, but we could be in a worse position. We're 5th in the league. But yeah, it's a bit boring talking about the financial stuff all the time and what's going wrong. I think on the pitch today, positives, I thought Gahey was unbelievable. I said in the player ratings that we'd been nullified a bit from that ball from Gahey to Munoz. Even normally you'd see Gahey play the crossfield ball, but it was nice to see that combination. I thought Lacroix was good. Richards was unreal. I thought Wharton showed glimpses of being top Wharton, but he also gave the ball away quite a bit.
Easy passes as well at times. I know he had that great pass in the second half. Spoke about in the chat, but yeah, Wharton wasn't at Wharton levels today. Like, not just anyone. Like Yeremy Pino had a shocker today. He really stood out to me as the worst player on the pitch. I hate to point him out, but he really did struggle today.
Weak in it, falling over, giving the ball away.
It was too easy to take him off the ball, even on the ball. He just wasn't at it, and he's just still adjusting. So we just have to go through that phase as well.
Yeah, Mitchell looks like he's getting to that stage again where he looks so tired because he done so much running. Like even at that, did you see that bit in the 90th minute where he's just battling with two players and Glasner's like just shaking him saying,
Yeah. Who did you take off? Where like Devaney came on as a 10 with Sosa. Where's Sosa? We've got 2 goalies on the bench. He's out injured, but
I genuinely think he just brought on Devaney just for legs, literally just for legs. But but there was still half an hour to play, and he looked way out of his depth. I think he gave the ball away 3 or 4 times. He didn't look like a threat when we were going forward at all. But yeah, I'm just happy we came away with 1-0 win. Like that would have been disastrous if we didn't win that game.
Yeah. Look, let's just say this: if those players came on and it was still 0-0, I don't think we're winning that game. I don't think based on their performances. So thankfully it was 1-0. They came on, they ran around, and that's where we're at. Like the bench players are coming on just to run around rather than actually having input in terms of in front of goal.
Yeah.
So
I've got to salute the fans that were there as well. That is, I know a few people that went, and it's to me your borderline mental health problems if you're gonna go Burnley away on a Wednesday night.
On a Wednesday night to go all the way to Burnley, and then they're probably going to be in early after the morning, got work tomorrow as well. So,
but they probably deserve that 1-0 win. Do you know what I'm saying? So just wanted to hop on quick. I'll let someone else jump on.
All right, cool. All right, then take care, bro. Let's bring on Henry next before we wrap up. Henry, good win, 1-0. Yeah, going well. Well, happy days in terms of the result. There's still a bit of concern in terms of the outlook for the rest of December based on that game. But if you're looking at today individually, clean sheet, win, we'll take it, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we won at the end of the day, despite all the negative talk. But I can understand, by the way. But yeah, I think it was a very sort of gritty, one of them performances that I kind of knew, to be honest, before the game. I was thinking, considering our recent performances and the fatigue and the squad with the Conference League, I knew it was going to be a scrappy game. I just had that feeling. I think we did fine. We just sort of did what we needed to do, really. It wasn't a perfect performance by any means. I was a bit concerned about the second half performance because it seemed like, again, we sort of fell asleep a little bit, you could say, at certain points.
Was it a case of falling asleep, or do you think tiredness played a part to that? Because it just felt like, to me, the players were knackered.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the factor of mental fatigue and physical fatigue was definitely happening there because, it's a very hard thing to do to ask these players. I mean, they're playing too many games, but with the squad size that we have, it's just like the others have said, it's not sustainable. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like we had them pretty much at bay, apart from a few moments, but those few moments were very, very, nip and tuck, especially the one where I think it was Larson who hit the bar and Henderson made a great save. But yeah, I'm glad we got the win. It is a bit of a weird feeling with what's happening at the moment.
We are fifth. It doesn't feel like it at times the way that we talk about.
I know you wouldn't sort of know it, would you?
Yeah.
Sometimes, but no, we're fifth in the league. I mean, we do have to enjoy this situation as best as we can because when else have we been able to say we're fifth on the 3rd of December?
And fifth also gets a Champions League spot. So I mean, I wish the season ended today and that happened. But I'm just saying, like, if we do end up surviving December and back the manager in January, bring in a few more players, then we could have an incredible run in for the second half of the season.
Yeah, we could. You know, the thing is for me, D, is like it's kind of like what Glasner said again after the Man United game really struck a chord with me, because it was like, damn, like it was a damning thing to say. Like it was like, this guy's speaking from the heart. He's saying what we all think, you know, like, and I respect that a lot. I've got a lot of time for him for that. I've got a lot of time for him anyway, but you know, it just says a lot that, like, for me, like, if, and I know this might sound a bit bold to some people, but we've had Steve Parish long enough to know what he's like now, right? For me, if he's not gonna give this manager what he wants, I'm done with him. Like I'm not saying I want him out, like, but if there is another like person or party interested in taking on Crystal Palace and improving it as a club, then I'm all for, like, as long as it's the right, you know, as long as it's good ownership, like it's not dodgy ownership, then I'm happy with that. Like it just reaches a point where you think, well, what more do you want? This guy literally gave us the best day in our football club's history, and you're not willing to give the guy a bit more than just Uche and backup players. I mean, that's all we did in the summer. We signed Benitez, who's only featured in the League Cup once, I think. We've seen Sosa, who's been kind of sporadic. We haven't seen him for a good period. We signed Uche, who's barely played. I mean, I remember the excitement around Uche when at Selhurst Park. He came on against, I think it was Sunderland. He came on, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I think so.
And he had like a 10-minute period where he was like, this guy looks bright. You know, it was almost like, you know, shades of a young Wilf going through, you know, skilling up players on the wing. And, you know, I'm not saying he's comparable to Wilf, but he showed sort of tiny little glimpses of him. And since then, it's just like, but we've barely seen him. I've heard a lot about, you know, attitude problems. I don't know if that's true or not, but clearly it's I think it's clear to see that Glasner doesn't really rate him for whatever reason. Otherwise, he'd be playing more minutes in the team. And then, you know, Esse, I don't know what's going on with him as well. It's like, it's the thing with me, like, to put it simply, I don't want to ramble on too much, but to put it simply, I think we'll have a good season. I think we've got a good group of players, very good group of players actually, who know what it's like they are a team, you know, in the sense of the word team. Like, they all work for each other. But I just think it could have been so much more. Like, that's the feeling I get, is like, it's good, but it could have been a lot. Like, if we showed some more ambition, like, I mean, it's very frustrating in that aspect. I think Glasner is really working miracles with what he has, and I think it really shows how good a manager he is, because as a manager, you can kind of only work with the tools that you've got, and I think most people would agree in that he's overachieving and we're overachieving with what we've got in terms of the squad we have, the rotation options we have to be fifth in the league at this stage, to still be in the League Cup. I mean, I know there's been a couple of conference games which hasn't gone too well, but I still think we're in a remarkable position considering the circumstances.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Look, we're in a good position. We're in a very good position, and let's see if we can survive December, especially with the games coming up, and then the two Conference League games is the one that I'm a bit concerned about. Also, you know, hopefully it's just a natural worry because of where we are in the Conference League. We can't really afford to drop any more points if we can get through those.
And it's the worry of, like, you don't want those extra games in February, and then especially if we get another injury as well. I mean, I know Sar's out for a while.
Yeah,
I mean,
so we can't really afford that. So
we need
yeah.
to do, like, I don't know. I don't have faith that we'll do business early in January, but we absolutely have to. Like, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's see. Well, we have no faith, but let's see. There's still time. There's still a month left till then, and there's a lot of games to be played. Let's see how Paris reacts and to those comments by Glasner, and see if he does actually perform. But just quickly, Fulham, how do you feel about that one?
I'll be honest. Right now, I don't feel too confident about that Fulham. I just think Fulham are on a little bit of a resurgence right now. That they almost pulled off the comeback of the fucking century against Man City.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be a bit controversial, but I do want to mention it. I feel like Henderson is having a few shaky moments, and I do recognise that, you know, he's our best keeper, and that save tonight again was fantastic. But I feel like maybe he could do with a little rest at some point. Like, I don't know if that's something that Glasner's considered. I don't know how good Benitez is, but I haven't really seen that much of him. But it just feels like tonight, like that cross that went in, and he just sort of fumbled. Like he should have punched that out or caught the ball, and he didn't. And the Burnley guy nearly scored. I feel like if he got a better contact on that, he would have scored. I mean, it was great clearance off.
I think that just him. Just it happens. He's human. It's just a little mistake that couldn't really cost us, but he had a fantastic save as well in the game.
I know, but I feel like I've seen it creep in a few in a few games. I was at the Wolves game, and he fumbled a shot from a free kick, and it just deflected off the guy and went for a corner. I was thinking, if that isn't Wolves, that could be a goal. You know what I mean? I just and also the goal against Man United, the first one, the second one, I think it was the Xerxes goal. No, that was the first one, wasn't it?
The first one, first one, yeah.
I feel like he could have done better with that. So I feel like he's making a few mistakes, but you know, I'm not going to argue with anyone who says that Henderson should remain because, you know, he's what he's done for us. But I just think it's something to think about. But I'm sure Glasner, I trust whatever Glasner does anyway. So
yeah,
we just got to, you know, try and get through this period as hard as it is. But hey, we got to enjoy the position we're in while we're in it, right? So
exactly, enjoy this win tonight, and then let's see what happens in the next 3 days. Hopefully, the players are well rested, and we go again against Fulham. But Henry, pleasure talking to you, and hopefully we'll catch up again soon. Take care.
Cheers.
That was Henry having to say. We are going to wrap up there. If you have enjoyed the stream, please do hit the like button before we do end. And most importantly, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below after the stream has ended. We'll be back tomorrow for the player ratings as well as a match preview. Content coming up flowing as the games are non-stop. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. But that's it from us. And until next time, up the Palace.